Hi guys, thanks for checking the video out. So last week a few videos went up on Mark Crossfield's channel at Teignmouth. You'll notice there were some big changes in my putting posture. First time Mark had seen it, so he was a little, well, he loves the banter, doesn't he? So he's a good friend of mine, so he had a bit of that friendship rivalry slash load of that. So this video is really to explain why I've made the change and kind of what you can learn from it. I'm not saying you need to make this exact change, but you can kind of apply the theory. So the big change is the Buzza squat. So you'll see that I'm creating some S posture. So if I was to do this posture in my full swing, I would be really discouraging you because it can put a lot of pressure on the pelvis. It actually makes it very difficult to move the pelvis. But consider my issue with putting. So I tend to move off the ball a lot. So when I'm moving off the ball, it makes it very difficult to deliver the club properly. And you can imagine the margins in putting are quite small. So when I'm shifting around, it causes me some issues. So actually putting myself in this posture, it actually makes it very difficult for me to move my pelvis. And in putting, and for me, that's a great thing. The second reason I've done it is the more you move your weight back into the heels, it actually changes where your center of pressure is. So I have a big problem and I get the putter blade moving across. And by getting it moving across, so if I show you here, by getting it moving across, I tend to hit it out the toe. So if you've watched any of Mark's vlogs or if you've watched any of mine, you'll see I have an awful problem with coming up short. So it's easy to say hit it harder, but the reason I tend to come up short is that I'm hitting it out the toe. I'm getting a poor contact. Very difficult to judge the roll because obviously if I'm dotting around a bit, again, I then get a bit worried because then when I try and hit it harder and catch the middle, I hit the rocket ball, and we don't want that one. So by moving my pelvis back and moving my center of pressure back, it actually encourages me to improve my path. It's something that I mean, if you're a slicer of the golf ball, what tends to happen, and if you think about it, you'll come this way and you will move your weight onto your toes. So I'm kind of using that theory, but I'm moving it back excessively. Like I said, if you were to try and use this with your driver, by going to the extremes I've gone, you would probably struggle to move the pelvis, so you would get a problem there. But moving it slightly back certainly wouldn't hurt, and it might actually help. So try it a little bit with your driver, but in my putting here, I've been able to make quite a massive change, and it's had some great results. I'm certainly delivering the putter better. The other issue I'm having, or the other big change I've had, is I've changed my grip. Gone to my left hand below my right. The reason I've done that is I tend to add loft. So when I deliver the shaft, I pull the shaft back. If you're going to deliver obviously not to this extent, but by moving it back, going to add a load of loft, I get that jumpy roll. So if you're somebody that putts and it almost bobbles, but you've got a really good surface, it can sometimes be because of that. So I've changed my grip to try and encourage me to keep the shaft more forward. So again, that's the reasons I've made these changes. But sort of the main take-home message from this video is this S posture. It might look like it's a bit of a fault, but it's actually aiding my performance. So if you're somebody that's doing really well, but it might look a little unorthodox, or the position you might go, well actually I prefer it if I looked a little more up, or if I looked like I moved a little whatever, it might actually hinder your performance because you're sort of taking a component and adding to your problem. So it's where golf coaching can be quite tricky, because you need to actually look up at sort of the whole makeup of the golf swing. It's like if you made a soup and you put too much salt in it, you wouldn't then go grab salt and shove a load more in thinking that yes, this is going to improve it. I know that's quite a silly example, but that's kind of what we sometimes see in people's golf swings, because instead of thinking what's that change going to do to my game, So I'll stand back up, but then I'm moving my weight forward, so now I'm going to cut across it more. I mean, that's my example. You actually just make a change that looks nicer, but it actually is not going to aid how you deliver the club. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope you enjoy my new putting prowess. I hope it continues. If there's no more videos on my putting, obviously it was a fluke, but hopefully that's not the case. So get some comments down below. Are you the type of person that's maybe filled and found a position, or you've made a grip change, or you've changed the face alignment, something that seems to have improved your game but might not be deemed as like completely to the manual? I'd quite like to hear and get your thoughts. Hope to catch you soon.